Hello there, welcome to Target Radio Podcasts. Yes, we have a podcast for your ears. Every week here on the show, on our live shows that is, we try and get an interesting persons, artists, band members, music, poets, film playwrights. We even get, we'll try and get everyone. We'll try and get everyone that's interested in our genre of music that we portray here on Target Radio. So what we do is sit them down, we have a telephone interview, sometimes a live interview, and we discuss all things in their profession. So stay tuned here. This one is an absolute blast. You're going to love this, and I'll be back at the end to obviously, tell you what's coming up in the very near future. I am the Pod Father. I will now tell you that this is Target Radio Podcasts. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, and if you think we deserve it, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating. That would be rather nice. Thank you very much indeed. So over to me. Sit tight and enjoy. This is Target Radio. 5
Sunday,
4
Sunday,
3
Sunday night,
2
in his Sunday best.
1
Sunday,
go. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Dear God in heaven, please let this show go okay, with no major boobs or goofs, or is it goofs? Please don't let me tread all over the intros of records, or say a naughty word.
So let's have fun.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. Hello, 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 and welcome to the show.
Lock it on to the best station on the net.
First we take a groovy record, then we add a super sound DJ.
Oh, Sean Kirk.
The big DJ. The big DJ.
When do I get my badge?
And a very good evening. Welcome. Cookie here for 2 hours of your Sunday evening. Thank you very much for joining me. Oh, you are such lovely people. On tonight's show then. Oh, it's fun-packed, I tell you, and we're going to be extremely busy. So first up then, we've got around about 7:30 this evening. We've got the fabulous Tim Darvell, or Darvell. We've got Tim. I do this every time, don't I? I should find out the correct pronunciation of his surname. Anyway, Tim's here. And the fantastic Tim has released Fields of Dawn. 4 tracks called Goodbye Farewell, easy for me to say, recorded by a multitude of different artists. And the proceeds of this will all go to bowel cancer. So, we're going to have a chat with Tim, find out a little bit more about this fantastic project and how he got started in it. Tim Darvell, he's coming on very soon. I think we've got time for just one more track before we do that. Okay, shall we do it? Okay, here we go then. So it's Tim Darvell. I bet I've been pronouncing it all wrong all evening. Okay, we'll find out right now. Oh, he's coming through nice and loud. Well, let's just hope that Tim is going to answer the phone right now. Do we have... let me get this right. Do we have Tim Darvell on the other end of this phone line?
I hope so.
That's great news. We need one of these. And I'm going to tell you now, they're all social distancing for lockdown 2.0. Tim, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too bad, my friend, not too bad. Now, is it Darvell?
I say Darvell.
Darvell, okay.
Probably because I'm lazy, and I think Darvell sounds a bit posh. So.
I see, I was trying to posh you up a little bit there.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, my goodness me. Right, we're going to go jump straight into this. Now, obviously, you have been a very busy bee recording a song for this charity, shall we say. Now, obviously, the charity itself is for the Bowel Cancer UK, and the EP is called Fields of Dawn, and it's called Goodbye, Farewell. So I've set you up there. Tell us a little bit about the actual idea behind it, first and foremost, please, if you wouldn't mind, please, Tim.
Yeah, sure. Well, Fields of Dawn is kind of a musical project that I started at the beginning of the year, and myself did a couple of tracks early on for the Love, Hope, Strength charity, which is Mike Peters of the Alarms blood cancer charity.
Right.
And they went pretty well, raised a couple £100, and it was all quite good fun. I enjoyed dabbling back in music myself. And then the idea with this one was, to be fair, I probably got a bit of influence from Steve Smiley Barnard with this, because with his Smiley's Friends idea, and he gets, fellow musicians to help him out.
Yeah.
I had the song Goodbye, Farewell. I sort of got it together, and I decided it wasn't really a song that I could really do justice to myself. So I thought, why not put out a request and see if I could get some people to help me out?
Of course, yeah.
But my plan really was to sort of have it as a one-track, release with people on the track with me. But immediately, as soon as I put it out there, the response was phenomenal in terms of interest. And I thought, well, let's go with it. And so obviously, one track turned very quickly into 4 tracks. Absolutely brilliant. And great fun.
And it is absolutely brilliant, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when I first heard it, I thought, hang on, they're all the same tracks, but they are so different from each and every one is so different from the last. And even though it's the same lyrics on there, Tim, it's sung so differently. You would think, if you didn't know any better, they were 4 completely different songs. Yeah,
I mean, I was quite lucky in a way. I mean, I mocked up a really quite awful rough demo, which I sent out to, people who came on board.
Yeah.
And I just said to them, I didn't want to have too much input in what they were doing. I just said, go away and do what you like with it. I saw it as a sort of a ballady type song.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I didn't want to start getting all sort of, it should be like this, should be like that, because to be fair, the people that came on board were, they know what they're doing as well. So,
absolutely,
go and do your best. And every time a version came into me, all the full versions, when I first heard them, I just every time it's like, my hair standing up on end. It was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, that's what you want, though. That's the response that music can give you. Where your sort of hairs on the back of your neck start standing up, and you feel that sort of that shiver of excitement, that shiver of anticipation, and most importantly, that everything is knitted together so nicely that it gives you that sort of tingle all over, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, taking away, I was so proud to have my music sort of interpreted by these wonderful people, but I still think take me out of the equation. When I listen to the tracks, I think it's great. Really do enjoy it, and hope it continues to sort of get a bit more interest and see where it goes.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is dedicated to the memory of one Kelly Smith. Now tell us a little bit about Kelly, if you can, please.
Yeah, sure. As part of my fundraising over the years, I've done a couple of books, and the last book was called The Record, and it came out last year.
Right.
And what I did with that book was, I met people, some from the bowel cancer community like Kelly, and lots of famous people. Going back to Smiley, he was in it. I went down to his studios and saw him, and everyone told me the first record they bought, so that was sort of a thread running through the book.
Yeah.
So Kelly, I came across. There's another lady with bowel cancer called Deborah James. She's quite kind of high profile on in the media now. She's called Bowel Babe, and she's living with cancer. And when I met her for the book, she suggested Kelly. So I made contact with Kelly, and she was a young mum, full of life, living up in Macclesfield. great fun on Instagram. She sort of, she lived with cancer, but her stories and everything about it was just great fun. She didn't let cancer sort of dominate her life. It was, obviously a really massive battle for her, but she lived life. And sadly, she passed away in June. And I'd sort of written part of the song at the beginning of the year, thinking about my mum who'd died of bowel cancer a few years ago.
Yeah.
I kind of got stuck there. I sort of had, I don't know, maybe half the song done, and I got a bit stuck, and I sort of put it away for a while. And then, sadly, when Kelly died, I went back to it, and I sort of finished writing it more as a kind of third-person type thing, rather than "this is my mum, this is how I feel."
Yeah.
I kind of turned into a more generic song, just generally about losing someone, not my loss. And it sort of then came together not easily, but it flowed. And I've been in touch with Kelly's parents, ever since she passed away, and they were very, happy for me to dedicate the release to her. And here we are, and her friends. To be fair, I've met online, obviously with the lockdown, but I've now met quite a few of her friends since she passed away, and they've been really supportive too. And I've sort of done a bit of clothing on my fundraising site, as well. So she was a great person, and she wrote the foreword for the book actually. So we were only in contact on social media, but she was a great fun person, and it was desperately sad when she passed away.
Absolutely. And if you have bought the CD single already, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see in the bottom right hand corner a lovely picture of Kelly Smith there holding a little teddy bear and everything. And like you say, she's such a young lady as well. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Obviously this cancer ripping through her, and obviously thus losing or ending her own life. It's horrible, through cancer, that she has no future. But obviously, with the money that you're raising, hopefully this will go a long way towards helping to try and find some sort of cure, or at least, a stepping stone. Every pound raised is a pound nearer to that, that ultimate goal of curing bowel cancer. So, what I want to go on with now is the versions on here. Now, you've got 4 different versions, as we previously mentioned. So, version 1 is by a lady called Carol Hodge. Can you tell me a little bit about Carol, please? Or not? He's gone. Where's he gone? Hello? I think we've lost him. I have no idea what's happened to him, so I'm going to try and find young Tim again. I don't know what happened to him. He seems to have disappeared off the face of the planet. So here we go. I'm going to try and get hold of him again now as we're speaking to him. Boom. There we go. We'll try and get back in. We'll try and get him back now. I think I actually lost the connection my end for a change. It does make a change for me to lose connection myself rather than it goes to the other end. Oh, my goodness me. Tim, pick up the phone, for goodness sake. He's probably still talking. Oh, dear. Tim, are you there, Tim? We lost the connection there. Good old Facebook Messenger. Brilliant stuff. There we go. It's either your end or my end. I think it was actually my end, Tim, to be fair.
Just wait. I don't know what happened at all.
No. I was halfway through, a real good statement there. And I was asking for a response, and you weren't there. What happened?
The thing I would say about bowel cancer and fundraising, of course, the charity Bowel Cancer UK is obviously facing very difficult times with the current situation.
Of course,
and having to lay off staff. So fundraising on that point is extremely important. But the other thing that I sort of have learned over the years, it's actually raising awareness about, in my case, bowel cancer, but any of these awful illnesses.
Yes, of course.
Raising awareness is key because especially with bowel cancer, if it's detected early, it's very treatable.
Yes.
But at a later stage, the odds drop dramatically, and too many people get diagnosed at a late stage. So, we have to keep on about raising awareness. And obviously, with the current situation and treatments being delayed, it's so important to try and get the early detection rates up.
Absolutely. And obviously, the reason behind the 4 versions of this song is obviously to raise awareness of the Bowel Cancer Charity UK in itself. And obviously to try and, obviously, as I said before, we got rudely cut off by whoever, the Gremlings. Obviously, I was just about to ask you about Carol Hodge, which is on version 1. Yeah. She's arranged it, produced it, and obviously her voice is on this first song. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about Carol Hodge and the sort of the difference when it came through to you. Did you envision it this way, or was it a complete shock to you, or
but when Carol plays, one of the things she does, she's had a couple of solo albums out, and she plays in a couple of other bands, including Ryan Hamilton, who supported The Alarm in the past. And I was fortunate enough to go to a house concert last summer where Carol was playing.
Yeah.
Seeing her playing in the living room was absolutely phenomenal. And I think, to be fair, when the version came through, I don't think I was surprised, but it absolutely blew me away. It was so haunting and beautiful.
Yes.
It was everything I think, that I wanted it to be in that style. And I had a feeling she would do it along those lines, but it just was amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do there. We're just going to take a breather just for about 30, 40 seconds. I'm just going to play the first part of this one. So this is called, funny enough, Goodbye Farewell. Not funny, but obviously they're all called Goodbye Farewell. And this is by Carol Hodge. Hello, this is Cookie, and you are tuned in to Target Radio, where we try and play the best sounds around, including those great heroes of ours. Yes, we are talking about the unsigned band and artists. So why not tune in to Target Radio every day? It's targetradio.co.uk. There you will find all the internet players that you can throw a stick at. targetradio.co.uk. I got to tell you now, James Walsh's voice is absolutely marvellous. It brings a new sort of level to that song, unlike Carol Hodges, which is absolutely beautiful, as we said. Kobe Walsh, and of course with Steve Smiley Barnard there, they just bring it to a different sort of avenue. They take it down a different lane, don't they?
They do indeed. And in fact, I heard this song obviously before their album came out. So, but it would kind of fit on their album. I think it's the quality of what they turned around in a very short space of time was amazing. And James, once again, has been absolutely brilliant and so kind and supportive all the way through. So I'm very grateful indeed.
And I've just got to say now, James Walsh, why the hell have you got your Christmas tree up already? What's he like? Oh my goodness me. Now, version number 3, we've got Steve Webster, and the arrangement is with Steve Webster. Now, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. I will try though. Jennifer Glashofer?
Yep.
Oh, great. And David Martin. So tell us a little bit about these guys here, and what did they bring to the table as as the cliche goes?
Yeah, well, Steve, I know Steve fairly well through our mutual appreciation of The Alarm, and Steve performs in a couple of function bands. So with David Martin, who sort of did the instrumentation on the song, they're in Three's Company.
Okay.
And with Jennifer, it's Joyrider. So Steve also sings with is it Guy Martin's the chef? I can't remember what his name is. They've done Carfest. So
okay.
Steve has got a decent pedigree behind him, and he did admit that his original idea was to sort of do it as a ballad. And then when he heard the other versions, he was very pleased that he didn't. So
indeed,
this version is a bit more sort of guitar influenced. And once again, I was blown away by it. He's also done it slightly differently in terms of the chorus. He's sort of extended the verse melody with using the chorus lyrics in the verse chorus, and then does a bit of instrumental for the chorus. So it's a very different arrangement. So
absolutely. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I've heard it a couple of times myself, and I think, again, this version is so much different from the second version, and again, obviously, from the first version.
It's got a voice to die for. It's got the most beautiful voice.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, we've teased them enough. Let's have a little snippet of this. Wow. Now, for me, that gives it almost a bluesy, almost sort of a country as well. It sort of borders on both there, doesn't it? It gives it that sort of a totally a different take on the same song yet again there.
Yeah, I think for me, if there was one arrangement that I don't think I would have ever come up with, it's that one.
Yeah,
it's absolutely unique and really creative and a beautiful take on it. And I think it's stands right up there with the other three versions. Absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you. Again, it is refreshing to hear obviously they've just got the lyrics, and like you said, you just left them to it for them to do their own creativity with it. And like you say, I mean, you could have made an album of the same song by so many different artists on this.
My mind.
There you go. Fantastic. Now, we've got version 4. Now, what I'm going to do is something a bit different here. Now, I was going to play version 2, but everyone thinks, oh, well, Kirby Walsh, Steve Smiley Barnard. I want to play version 4 in its full entirety to finish off our interview today. But before we do that, now, obviously, I want to know a little bit more about this EP. Is it available right now?
Yes. So the EP has been out a few weeks.
Okay.
It's only available on my website, my fundraising website, which is called rivers2cross.com, and that's the number 2, so rivers2cross.com.
Okay.
I was hoping to have it on sort of the usual Amazon, iTunes platforms and Spotify, but because it would be classed as a compilation, the account I've got with my sort of I think it's called DistroKid, it couldn't do it.
Right.
So I just thought, and in terms of raising funds, obviously I make more money if I. So I produced a batch of CDs, and it's also available as a download from my website.
Fantastic.
That's the place to go, rivers2cross.com, if anyone's interested in buying it.
Okie dokie. And obviously, when you get a chance, can you send us over the link, put it onto the Target Radio live page for presenters and listeners, and of course then everyone can obviously then just easily click that link as well. Because it's funny, when you listen to the radio, sometimes you don't have a pen to hand, and then you go, oh, what was that website again? So flick it over to us, you can message it over to us, and I'll then take it from there and put it onto the page, or indeed put it onto the page itself. That would be most appreciative. And please go out there and buy it, because every single penny of this goes to a world-beating charity. They, when I say they, I mean all these unsung heroes working in the back, in the background, really, trying to do their best to raise money for the Bowel Cancer UK charity. And then all these pennies and monies go to them for research, obviously to try and find a cure. And obviously, as you said before, Tim, if it's found early enough, it can be cured.
Yeah, well, the facts are, briefly, if it's caught at stage 1,
right,
the 5-year survival rate is over 90% for patients.
That is fantastic odds.
Brilliant. So, but if it's caught at the later stage 4, the odds drop to about 7%. So anyone with stage 4 bowel cancer or any cancer is really sort of struggling, for long term. The odds are not great.
No.
So, and in terms of also, if it's caught, the treatment costs less, in the long term. So it just makes sense to sort of drive this, so we can try and get the early detection rates up.
Absolutely.
It will give the NHS money, and it will give people a longer and better quality of life. So it's to me, it just makes sense.
Well, as I say, it's a no-brainer, really, in the industry. It just literally is a no-brainer. And Tim, what you're doing here, my friend, is absolutely marvellous. You're doing it for all the people that have, unfortunately, lost their lives through bowel cancer. Obviously, people very close to you, and people that that you've grown attached to, and unfortunately, died through this. Yeah. And my belief is that spare a few pennies. How much is it, by the way, to buy this EP?
So the CD costs £5.
Okay.
That includes postage.
Right.
And the download is £2.99.
Oh, for goodness sake. You can't even get a pint for that. Mind you, can't even get a pint anyway. All the pubs are shut. But that's not
for the really fussy people, if you only want to buy one of the tracks, buy, whichever one takes your fancy. You can buy them individually for 99p each. So there you go.
But ladies and gentlemen, why would you want to do that when you can actually get the CD? It's black. It's got a lovely feather effect on the front of it. You've got a beautiful picture of Kelly Smith on the back, and then you've got all the versions on this one CD. It gives you all the information on there, and you can play it in your, anywhere you want, which has got a CD player slot. So why wouldn't you want to do that? Just a note of that email address one more time, please, Tim.
It's rivers2cross.com. That's the number 2, rivers2cross.com.
There we go, and I'm sure you're going to put the link up onto our page very shortly. Tim, I'm going to leave you with the version 4, which is Jason, Bradley and Mike Dolgozmia.
Duklasima.
I was close. And apparently you mixed this one yourself, Tim.
Well, the reason for that was that Jason lives in Sheffield and Mike lives in New Jersey, so it was a bit of a transatlantic combination here. So
yeah,
they'd never met. I'd never met Jason. I have actually met Mike on my previous visit to see the Alarm out in the States. But,
wow.
So I was sort of the glue that they sent me their tracks, and I sort of joined it all together.
And of course, I read your email, and that is why I've chose this track over the other 3, because I think this probably was one of the hardest to put together, because obviously of the distance and obviously guys not meeting each other through lockdown and everything else. This probably was the hardest one, maybe.
It was a challenge, but it was great fun because both of them were up for it. So there was no sort of and Jason, who did the keyboards, just had some ideas in terms of the arrangement. So we just went with it, and it just once again, once we got the mix right, I was so pleased with it.
Perfect. There we go. A great ending, and obviously a great start as well, because we're going to drive the sales of this hopefully forward. So everyone, please get out your PayPal and your wallets and your credit cards and debit cards. Oh, come on, you can't go down a pub. It's closed. You can't go out and do a restaurant. All right, okay, you can get a takeaway. Okay, but why would you want to do that? In fact, get a takeaway, buy the album, the EP. Sorry, I do apologise. Get the EP. Have your chicken korma or whatever you're having, and listen to some fine and dandy music at the same time. What do you think, Tim? Is that a great idea?
Makes perfect sense to me, Sean.
Tim, you've been a wonderful star this evening. Thank you very much for all you do for all the charities, but most importantly for the Bowel Cancer UK charity, which is what this EP is all about. My friend, that for me deserves another one of these. And even get it turned up a bit.
Thank you very much.
Tim, we'll catch up with you soon, my friend. You take care of yourself and make sure these sales go through the roof, because we obviously want to raise as much money for Bowel Cancer UK as feasible and as possible. And I'm going to leave you, Tim, and I'm going to leave all of our lovely audience before we get Nicky Weller on with this beautiful, beautiful track. Okay, thanks, Tim. See you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Bye. Bye. And if you want this track along with the other 3 brilliant tracks, www.rivers2cross.com. And we're back, yes. And what did you think of that for an interview? Wasn't it great? We found out so much. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for joining us for the Target Radio podcast. I am your pod father. That is me, Cookie. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes if you can, please. If you think we deserve it, 5 stars, please. It does help with the future of Target Radio. Check out all of our great shows here on Target Radio. And as I say, please, please, please support local artists and the unsigned band. Until next time, thank you very much indeed. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.